Welcome to another episode of Fans in Motion. As Andy would say, and some of you probably new people don't know who Andy is because he's never fucking on anymore because he's on 18 other podcasts. As Andy would say, the podcast that you didn't know you needed. As you can see, there's only one true blooded Night Ranger fan that was able to join me, and that is Baby. It's Baby, otherwise known as
Wow.
Rockin' Robyn. Rockin' Robyn. How you doing?
Pretty good. Feeling pretty confident that I'm never going to be put in the corner. So,
Well, uh, we'll just pass over that one. So how's the new job?
going great so far. I'm actually being pretty thoroughly trained, so I'm pretty sure I can do my job pretty well.
Horrible, horrible. You know,
Can't wait to work at home soon.
you don't want to be thoroughly trained, just trained enough. Um, all right. So this week's episode, I was out on the road with Night Ranger a little bit in Tinley Park, also known as South Chicago, kinda, and Noblesville, Indiana, which is a little bit north of Indianapolis. So I was out there. We'll talk a little bit about the Tampa show that just happened um, on August 2nd, Wednesday night. But as you can see, it's just me and Robyn. So, you know what?
So sorry.
Yeah, maybe should I not do
Just me.
episodes? Should I not do episodes? Listen, everybody out there, should I not do episodes if it's just Lisa and Robyn? Should I just nix it? Or should I continue on with those two troopers? So you know what? If you think Lisa and Robyn, I should do a podcast when the other two guys aren't available, leave comments everywhere with how much you love Robyn and Lisa. But yeah, Andy, Brent both had some things going on. Lisa was going to join us, but things at work got a little crazy for her at the end, so she is unfortunately going to be able to make it. But hey, here we are.
Work with us.
So last Thursday, well, there were supposed to be 4 Party Gras shows over last week in Corbin, Kentucky. Basically St. Louis, Chicago, and Indianapolis. Now, Bret Michaels ended up canceling a couple shows. He had a show last Wednesday in Alabama or Mississippi, or one of those things where education ranks low. And they postponed or canceled that date. Ended up postponing the date in Corbin, which is rescheduled for sometime, I think, in October, which Night Ranger and Jefferson Starship will not be on because of their schedules. So last weekend, Friday, Night Ranger played, I don't know if it was, what is that little suburb in St. Louis they played? Maryland Heights or something? I don't know, maybe that was Massachusetts. But anyways, they were in St. Louis, and it was hot as fuck. I actually was driving to Tinley Park. I drove out there that night, got out there Friday night. I didn't go to the St. Louis show, but driving out there, even like the sunset was all orange, and even the sunset
Awesome.
looked warm. Like it looked like we was on Tatooine or some shit. I was about ready to look out in the distance, see like a Jawa crawler or something. But it was
That's why
hot.
we road trip, man. That's part of the fun.
It was hot. Which that heat really took a toll on them for when I saw them the next day. So I went to Tinley Park that night. The next day I woke up, hit a couple record stores. I hit one of those record stores. You probably got a few in Cleveland. I don't know. They're
There's
all
a
about
few.
they're all these certain ones are all about the same. They're like buy, sell, trade, like
Mhm.
CDs, movies, video games, right? A lot of times they're overpriced.
We're
But
about on par with what you see online normally. So it's just you're in the store doing it.
Yeah, who wants that? But amazingly enough,
Experience.
I went into this joint. I found all kinds of shit. Right? I found stuff with Eric
What do
Levy.
you know?
Found stuff with Carrie Kelly. I found stuff with Ryan, um, the guitar tech. So it was interesting. I was finding some rare stuff with them. The one
That's
thing I
the
found,
best because you never know what you'll find. Or find
and
something
that is true.
unique.
I apparently, there was at least $38 worth of stuff that I found there. But one thing I found there for $1, Under the Street Lamp DVD, which
Okay.
kind of like Jersey Boys. I think it was the guys from Jersey Boys went and formed that. But Eric plays with them when he has time. Now, Night Ranger's been busy the last couple years, so there hasn't been much time for him to go play with them. But I actually went last year. He was Night Ranger's playing in like Waukegan, Illinois, north of Chicago, and that week that he was playing with Under the Street Lamp. So I went up to Milwaukee, saw him with that show, and then me and Eric drove down to Waukegan. But it's pretty cool if you ever get a chance, one, just to go see it. I mean, it's all you got 60s doo-wop and everything else music. And if you get to go see Eric, you definitely get to see a different side. So anyways, for one whole dollar, I was able to find their DVD. Now, in like 3 sections over, I found the same DVD, same condition, $9.99. So whatever. Um,
Feel.
then I saw this. Pretty Boy Floyd. And you got the usual suspects. It looks like, album cover.
Why do you just have pictures of these?
I don't know because I don't know where the things are. They're here somewhere.
You lost them
But
already in a week.
yeah. Steve Summers, Carrie Kelly, Christy Majors, Carl Kane, and the Rat as himself. I don't know what all that's all about. There's no barcode on the back, but it said all songs written by Carrie Kelly. Probably came out like 98, but for
Okay.
$15, I debated, but it's like, no barcode, blah, 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 blah.
What was the drummer's name?
I don't know if it really says who's who, but Steve Summers, Christy Majors, Carl Kane, and the Rat as himself. Anyways,
Okay.
Carrie Kelly wrote all those songs, like 5 songs on there. Then the other band I saw was the Torturers. Um, yeah, I don't want to say industrial, but definitely kind of like Marilyn Manson, kind of stuff like that. Nine Inch Nails, a band that came out in the '90s, and Ryan, who is the guitar tech for Night Ranger, when they do stuff, the Torturers, he plays guitar for them. So,
Okay. I
um,
remember that. I'm telling. He's really nice, I remember.
yeah. And the new what would it be, like, production guy, whatever his job would be, Eric, new guy, he was in the band as well. So there you go. um I accidentally took a screenshot of this, like when I went to pick up my phone when it was ringing. So you know how sometimes you grab it right with both
Yeah.
hands and it takes a screenshot. I almost deleted it. Like, you know what, I'm gonna keep this. So very rarely do I save people's pictures, right? As they're, like, when they call, like, their photo comes up. But one day I guess I
Oh.
had time, and I just, like, whatever quick picture I could find of each person, I just saved, right? So I think I got one of you and some of my friends and stuff like that. Anyways,
Aw.
I had a picture that I just posted maybe on Jack's page that day. So it was like right there at top where I could just hit a couple buttons. So anyways, I got a phone call, and that's what popped up on my thingamajig. So,
What
showing
is
off a little.
that, like a Big Life or
That is
Man of
Damn
Motion?
Yankees. This is
Oh,
Damn
okay.
Yankees. So it was.
Early
I,
90s. Okay. Could
I
tell
don't
it
know.
was later.
I don't know exactly what, it
You
must
don't
have been
know the
something I put.
exact show it was.
Yeah, it was something I was posting on his page, Joe. And it's a cool photo, and I
No,
just
it's
hit
awesome.
save, and there we go. Who would have ever thunk? Um,
That mullet mane. That's all I'm gonna say.
But I was getting a few phone calls. Hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I am at a record store. Got my car washed because like my whole windshield between Dayton and Indianapolis, I don't know what the fuck's out there. Whatever these bugs are, I don't like their life, and they would just fly right into my windshield. And they're huge. And my whole windshield, like I just stopped at a gas station, not even to get gas, just to scrape the shit off my windshield. But anyways,
Yeah.
I digress. Uh, but I went to a little car wash, and we don't know if it's just Chicago or whatever. I was thinking, like, you know, I'm I miss the days where you'd go into a car wash and it would be just all humans in there, right? Just scrubbing and drying, kind of like the movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go.
Like back in the 50s.
I'm talking about like the 70s. Go look up the movie Car Wash
Working at the car wash,
and
yeah.
have a little have a little fun. But anyways, it was almost like that. It was automated, but there was a guy who took your money at the very beginning and punched stuff in, and whatever you bought gives you the receipt. You then pull up to the next building. They stop you and scrub on the front and get all those fucking bugs off, and then pull you in, take your receipt, give you these little. They were just like pieces of. I was trying to describe what it is. You remember you it's mostly back in like the 70s or 80s. You would have um uh
I have an old car wash that
you
actually
would
just
have
got converted from into like
you
a chain one, and
you would
it used to be the super old school where they pulled it through and it was still like automated, but you could actually watch your car and like be parallel and walk alongside it as it was being washed and see it. And then it literally never changed inside until this point, like literally from the 70s you could tell, and they still would towel dry by hand
yeah, that's what.
afterwards. It was awesome. I miss it.
But back in the 70s 80s you used to have what's the things you put on the tables so you put your drinks on, what are they called?
Poster.
Coaster. So back then you had coasters and they had this like, I don't know, this brown type, I don't know. It's not really fabric. But anyways, they had these and they had a real strong scent. And you could put them in your cup holders and stuff. Anyways, stuff smelled great. And they come out and they dry it off and it was cool. But anyway, so Night Ranger was not doing a sound check on that Friday. So um we all had some time to kill. So met up with the guys and had a little lunch with Mr. Jack Blades, talked a little bit of rock and roll. Randy Meisner just passed away, so we talked a little bit about the Eagles um and then spent a little time with Brad Gillis. We went over to the venue early. um so again, they had played the night before in St. Louis, and um it was hotter than fuck. So they were kind of recuperating some. um the good thing about these gigs are in these big sheds, so there's always a lot of room to move around and um relax and everything. And I posted some videos on the Facebook page. Like I tried to at the venue just do like a quick walk around, maybe during sound check or something like that. So if you go to those pages, or go to the Facebook page, Fans of Motion, you can see all that. Now, whenever you're in Chicago, that's Eric's hometown. So Eric had a plethora of family members there. I have met some of his family members before, so starting to kind of get to know them. And um, his mom was there. His mom's great.
How many
Here's,
people would you say?
I would say probably maybe 12, somewhere in there, right?
Okay.
So like I usually meet like who I remember is like his mom, his sister's husband, I think, his nephew, which would be, their kid. So I'd met them before and talked to them. It's the other family members I didn't know. But here's a good picture I took of Eric's mom, and she's being greeted by Jack and Kelly. So You can see Eric
So
there in the background.
tiny.
She is. Uh, and she, I always joke around with her, like, don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on him, stuff like that. And
That you are.
um, so there's a group photo with the band and his family. Um, so it's always cool to see um, when they have family in town, and obviously they're proud of him and everything. So I was backstage and was walking in one direction, and coming towards me, actually I think we kind of met up and we're walking towards the same way, was old Norman Voss, fan of the page, or a friend of the page, bass player for the Bret Michaels group. And we're talking and walking at the same time, and I look over, and in his hands he has a few things, but one of the things is he has the Fans of Motion shirt. So I posted a couple photos, and none of that was staged. Like, I had mailed him that shirt a couple months ago, so he had packed it,
He
and
wasn't wearing it, but he wanted to have it near him.
but he had got it out to wear
Nice.
that afternoon. So when I ran into him
He
and
was wearing it.
we took this picture, that is literally just how I ran into it. I'm like, hold that up. And so obviously it's upside down, um but
It's
yeah, that
there.
was not planned, anything like that. And then when I ran into him again, he had it on, and um we did a quick video. So um all good. So see, that's the reason why you want to be on the Facebook
All the
machine.
deep.
So um but yeah, so that show was 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 great. Coming to the stage, I got some photos. Night Ranger, and there's Mark McGrath, there to greet him and stuff. He's a big Night Ranger fan, is always there watching them side stage. And you can see him and Jack doing, I forget, one of them told me what they were doing. They were singing a song or something. Um, but you never know who you're going to run into back here. So again, this is Tinley Park. You might recognize this guy there, giving Carrie a hug, maybe.
It's hard to see
Let me,
from
I'm gonna have a closer photo there, him hugging Bradley. But that is Mr. Jerry Dixon of Warrant. I don't think he's touring with them anymore.
gotcha.
Um,
Very familiar. Yeah, he was super nice when I met him. Steven Sweet was my little heartthrob though.
but Jerry Dixon was there. He eventually went out and did the All-Star Jamboree or whatever at the end. But
I don't mind the covers as much when like other people are with them, especially when it's like their song. Like, hell yeah, that's cool.
so but yeah, I mean, Night Ranger came out again. I mean, it was a good crowd, and it wasn't as hot. It was just
Yeah.
the day before had really took it out of them.
The humidity alone, I'm sure.
Now Tinley Park it's kind of a weird amphitheater. It's kind of like Blossom, Riverbend, places like that in
Is this
Ohio.
in Illinois?
This is Tinley Park, yeah, Illinois, basically
Okay.
south of Chicago. But they got these sky suites that basically hang off the roof. It's really weird.
Okay.
It's really cool. But they had the lawn closed. So there was no one in the lawn. It was all the theater seating.
Why?
I just probably this didn't sell enough tickets, but
Mm.
it is a little bit deceiving. It's probably um a little bit deceiving just because they have all those extra seats up in the sky suites. I mean, it wraps all the way around.
That
Uh,
there's more than it looks like.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest.
Or are
Um,
those the long seats, like super nosebleed?
well, they probably those, compensate for, some of the expensive seats, and they probably made the ones, the seats in the back probably obviously the cheapest. I don't know if I got a, um,
Yeah, but I mean, it's just better for the band anyway. Like it's harder to see that far back, that people can see better, you can see them better. It's a win-win, just letting them be closer.
and I need to post this. So if you look at Brad there and you see like where where the top of his guitar is,
Hmm.
right?
That's where the
Um,
seats are.
you can see those
Like a
lights and
weird
stuff.
balcony kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, there's a basically a balcony
Okay.
up there. Ran
Hmm.
into Jerry Dixon back there in the back, and um, he was messing with the bass, and I just talked to him a little bit. He's like, "I don't know if I remember how to play this," and so it's like,
Really?
you care if I take a? He was joking kind of, but it's like, you
I
care if I
was gonna say I
snap a
saw him like 10 years ago, but like
couple
10 years ago.
pictures of you? So we were joking around. I snapped a couple pictures, and he was having fun. Because he started to introduce himself. He goes, "Oh, I'm Jerry. I'm in the band, and I'm Warrant." And I'm like, "Dude, I know, man. I'm a big fan." And um, but um,
I have to say, Cleveland's very proud of Warrant and Janie as well, even though he's from Akron. Like,
hmm,
I mean, the scene is very similar.
got a ton of these. But if you look again, like right here, like that row, that's
Okay,
all seating up there, up in the sky,
that's
like the
cool.
sky suites. So it's no,
It's
yes,
like the fancy seats at a baseball stadium or something. The club
um,
seats.
but yeah. So Night Ranger plays their set,
Last or
and
Bret
no, Night Ranger
last.
does their set. Then Bret Michaels is going to come out, but Jack and Kelly are just so exhausted from that heat from St. Louis that we decide, hey, why don't we all leave, or some of us leave early. Um, Obviously Carrie, Eric are a little bit younger. Um,
And don't have to sing their asses off.
yeah, true.
That's the
So
important thing here.
right after the set, me and Ed and Jack and Brad, or Jack and Kelly, loaded in the back of my vehicle, and we hit the road. So we didn't stay for
What a car trip.
the
Bunch of
all
legends.
the yeah the all-star jam or whatever, which I still hadn't seen yet, because the other show I was at, um the only other Party Gras show I was at was the one in Clarkston, Michigan. Oh, and
Wasn't
I
that the
I
one that was super sad to miss with Steven and Ted?
no, that was something
Oh,
else.
okay. That was in Michigan
No,
too.
but
Sorry.
I was going to drive to Florence, so I didn't wait, for Brett's set. I just took off and left, and so I hadn't seen the Jamboree thing at the end. I don't know why I use Jamboree. It's a country. Every now and then, I'll tell you what, you try
What do
this
they
stuff.
call it? A medley or something? I remember Motley
Well, they
Crue's
just come
called
out
it a
and
medley
no,
before.
it's not really a medley because it's only one song. But basically at the end, he invites everybody out, and they play Sweet Home Alabama. Um,
Okay.
so, but that night, Jack and Kelly did not go out because you know they
Yeah.
they wanted to get a full night's sleep, basically. Um, so we drove to Noblesville that night, which was good because they weren't able to load out and everything until like we were like 15 minutes away from pulling into the hotel, and then the bus was just pulling out. So they would have spent like half the night on that bus, and then middle of the night.
Interrupted sleep. Yeah.
Middle of the night, went to the hotel room. So now they were just able to sleep in the hotel room all night. So the next day, starts. So Jack's going to do that go-kart. You see that go-kart race
Hmm?
that they did?
No,
So, Jack called me and was like,
that sounds fun.
they were going to do that. And he's like, do you want to go up? Um, obviously they can get a runner down there, but just like if you want to go up early, what do you, because we were staying a little bit of ways, so there wasn't like a lot to do down there, right? And everybody else is exhausted, right? They've been on the bus, so when am I going to just hang out in the hotel by myself? There was a bar there. But so yeah, it's like, so we kind of make a time. I talked to Kelly. Now Kelly again is kind of still beat up from that heat. And I was talking to Kelly. It's like, well, let me go get you.
Mississippi? Where
Huh?
they got Missouri?
Missouri. Yeah, it was like
Gosh.
105 degrees,
No thanks.
and even Ryan, who is, the youngest and smallest, like he was even telling me Sunday he still hadn't recovered from it, and he's not out there 70 years old banging on drums, or almost 70 years old out there running around with the bass. So uh so
Band
anyways, I
singer.
made a little run for Kelly and got him a few different things in hopes that it would refresh him. And then me and Jack jumped in the vehicle, jumped in my truck, and drove up there. And there was a lot of people going over to that go kart thing, so I didn't head on over. I went and did a few other things. I think maybe they just released maybe the video for it. I'm not even sure. But yeah, so they did that. Did you see the Jack post with the Damn Yankees stuff on the wall?
I think I did because he was like, just proud. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was Ed. I passed in the hallways like, hey, did you see this? Go in there and look at that. So when I walked in, I saw Jack reading it. I hurry up, just snapped a picture of that. Um, and what it is, the dressing room is basically decorated with old news articles back when it was called Deer Creek. And for
They
some
play
reason,
there, I'm assuming.
so there that's a news article from 1990, probably, maybe 91, but when they were on tour with Bad Company. And I don't know why they chose that article, but they did. There's another article that was on the wall from like the Grateful Dead playing there in the 90s. But yeah, there was a big old Damn Yankees article. So I took a few pictures of Jack next to it and Jack pointing to like who Damn Yankees is made up of and everything else. So that was kind of cool. And then we were talking about, he's like, do you think I should like wear something different to go karts? And I'm like, like, oh, they look all right to me. I mean, but then he dug out the Knight Rider shirt. I'm like, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. So that's the decision process of him wearing the Knight Rider shirt in his go kart video. Um, Trying to think what all happened. I wish they had these on sale. So this is like in the dressing room in the hallway. The Bret Michaels Party Gras tour, and it's got all the bands on it. Never seen them for sale. So if you did, let me know, where they were at. If you got connections, go steal me one or something.
And that's why the merch guy's hiding them from you.
I know. Um, what else? So here's a picture that was taken of the go-kart. So it was Bret Michaels, Jack Blades, Kathy Richardson from Jefferson Starship, Mark McGrath, and Steve Jerry. This turned out to be a pretty good photo. There's Jack giving the fist pump. Now, when it first started, they all had helmets on except for Bret. And eventually Jack, I think, realized this sucks. So you only had Jack and Bret um without
You let
helmets.
my hair down.
Um
Go-karts are fun.
so my mom and my aunt came out to the show with my boy. They were running a little bit behind, so they didn't quite get to do the meet and greet, but my kid didn't give a fuck, you know. He is into ceiling fans and sirens and all that stuff, and they had like all kinds of ceiling fans out backstage, like next where the meet and greet was. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go meet Bret Michaels or go see ceiling fans?" Ceiling fans. So that is where we spent the majority.
I met Bret once and he was really nice. They were but Boba Flex opened up and the singer of Boba Flex was super excited. He's like, I love poison. I love poison. um I was blonde too, so that was a moment being blonde meeting Bret because I've only been blonde for about a year of my life. You okay
um,
there, Josh?
yeah, so I don't know how many of you remember Big John from
The show
Rock of
or
Love, but
yeah.
there's Big John. Now, Big John's had some health issues recently. He just had a heart transplant, but he is doing pretty well and has been out at a few of the shows. So, um,
So bright. Like the flash pretty much got me in this picture. Damn. Now it's on
so
the lowest setting. There you go. Look at
I
that.
did end up meeting Mark Striegel from, I think he has a show on XM on the hairband, and I think he has one on the Ozzy's Boneyard. But there is Mark and his wife with Jack Blades. So met them and talked some Night Ranger. Maybe you might see him on a
And she's
podcast
gorgeous.
got podcast episode. You just never know. Never know. Try to take my kiddo out on the stage, between sets. Wanted nothing to do with it. Um, Here's a video that he filmed. So, well, so you can see the ceiling fans, right? He's filming the ceiling fans. Look at that.
So
There
precious.
was six of them. Um, so
This is the real footage right here.
yes, like if you start at the very beginning, you see like all the tour buses and everything. Like I said, it's all backstage. He could care less. He was into the
You know what's really funny? My brother had a little fan phase for a while too, of
mhm.
not ceiling fans, just like fans. And my mom made him a costume to be a fan for
Really.
Halloween.
So the reason why they came out to Noblesville is there's a ceiling fan company called Fanimation that's right near Noblesville. And I'd taken my son out there, a few months ago. And they got like a fan museum down at the bottom. So it's like fans from the 1800 or late 1800s and everything. And then upstairs they have newer fans, but they've got them all remote controlled where kids with autism can go up and turn them on and off and play with them and stuff. And that's what he likes to do. So, anyways, I was taking him there Monday, but my mom and my aunt brought him out Sunday, and they saw the show, and so that's kind of why he was there. But they were running late, so they didn't get him see the band. Eric, I did run into Eric. Eric came out and um said hi and everything. Here's a picture from Bret's
Meet and greet.
meet and greet. I will say this: that lady there talked to him for probably 5 minutes, and he had a whole row of people behind him, and he just let each one do their thing. So props to Mr. Bret Michaels.
I've never had that chance. I've been shoved away from security while the people are still talking to me, and I'm like, that's not rude. Like they're talking.
Yeah, they gotta keep it going, gotta keep it going. But um,
Not flirting, talking, by the way.
yeah, right. Um, so Night Ranger comes on stage, does their meet and greet. Uh, definitely a good crowd there. Um, I think there's a lot of new people. And I mean that just mean people that weren't Night Ranger fans because I went and walked around, hardly a Night Ranger shirt, everything was Bret Michaels. So a lot of um, new exposure.
Nice.
um just kind of going through photos and stuff. So I was able to see my boy, my mom and them had tickets, I don't know, maybe 10th row over on Kelly's side. So I was able to see my kiddo. He could care less. I mean, he would just
Mm-hmm.
I would look over, he'd be looking at me and I'd wave and he'd wave back. And um I did get a picture um of him. This is how riveted he was at the Night Ranger show. So here's the crowd shot. Now you can see him in orange sitting right there, all right? And if you zoom in on him, I would like to say he's screaming, but I think he's on him. So, not too impressed, I reckon. But I did go out towards the very end. Oh, and for the party girl on these shows, they did switch Sister Christian, Don't Tell Me You Love Me. So on the party gras shows, they are ending the shows with Don't Tell Me You Love Me. So I did take him out though at the very end of Sister Christian. And like I said, Kelly had gotten that full night's sleep and everything, and he just hit that note at the end of Sister Christian. I hadn't heard him hit it like that in a while. And it was cool because I was down front holding my kid. And so anyways, Night Ranger plays. I go take a few photos and stuff. And then
I'll never forget that Lima show. He was like, I don't know what it was. He was on fire. Not that he's never not, but it was just like, like all of his grit and everything's just like,
then before Bret came on, I was backstage talking to Norm. And next thing I know, old Mark McGrath comes up and the three of us are talking. And right towards the end, I snapped some pictures for Norm of him and Mark. So there's that. Probably should have tried to do a selfie or something, but anyways, it's just like I said,
moments are nice, yeah.
Mark is
Look at you, Mr. Ross Halfin.
he was but Mark really does dig Night Ranger. Then we went side stage and there's a couple of them again. Would have been better if I was drinking with them, but whatever. Uh but Norm, he right before they went on the stage, he went out on the side part and got him a little amped up. So I got some videos of that for him. So I had not stayed for the Bret part. All right. I'd seen Bret a little bit, like, first few songs of this, of those shows that I were at, but then I would, I left. All I can say is it was fucking awesome. If you got a chance, go. He comes out and just rocks it. He brings Mark McGrath out. They sing a couple of Mark songs. They sing some more Poison songs. Steve and Jerry comes out, and they all sound so fucking good. It's like I said, it's just like a party. The light show's great. Now, while Bret's playing, okay, so you got all this. Here's like Bret and all them, playing. There's the crowd going wild. I tell my kiddo, what do you want to do? You want to stand side stage to all this, or do you want to go out back where no one's at, backstage, and play with
The
ceiling fans? So here we are. You see the tour buses back here. So while there's 10,000 people just on the other side rocking out, we're back here playing with ceiling fans. He was, taking the chain and turn them up high
No one
speed.
else can ever say that they've ever done that at a Bret Michaels concert.
So I played with him, some there, and then they decided to leave. So then I went back out and recorded some video and stuff. Then it gets closer to like the last song where they all come out, so you start seeing some of the guys come back out. There's Brad and Ed. Good picture of those two.
Couple of hands.
And got some pictures of Mark and Brad there. Had to do them black and white because there was this red light they had going on for that song, and it almost makes it impossible, like, to drown
red
that
lights. The musician photographer's worst. I
So,
know, I've heard that from multiple of them. Just, I hate the
so
red light, and that's like all they'll do.
yeah, it was just that one song.
Oh, okay.
So Brad's like, hey, I think we're gonna go play bongos because they got along the back line, they've got some bongos where anybody can go out and play at any song and shit like that. So like I said, me and Brad were side stage and we walked behind. So here's, you can kind of see I'm just following Brad, and he runs right into Bret coming off stage, and then
Pardon me.
Brad just turns the corner and goes out there and starts playing the bongos. And so then I went over, and watching right there on the side was old Eric Levy and Carrie Kelly. So I gave Eric shit, like, why aren't you out there? I don't know. Like,
Who's that other guy? Just
I don't know who the other guy was. He
Roadie or
was
something?
someone with one of the other bands. But anyways, I find out the next day Eric did go out there and play bongos for one of the songs. So good on him. Anyways, like I said, it was some good shit. I was surprised how great the Bret's band sound, and just how the crowd was into it, how good Mark's songs were with them, and then Steve Jerry. And this is right before, now the red light came back a little bit, so this is me dimming that red light, but there's Brad, Steve Jerry, and Mark McGrath. Then they come out and play Sweet Home Alabama. I took a few picks, and the general consensus one a lot of people liked was the one I posted maybe on the Night Ranger page. Not sure exactly where it's at, but it was of all those yahoos out front. I got some here of Brad showing off out front there, playing the guitar. Anyways, it was really cool. They're all out there just, having fun. Like I said, if you saw the one picture on the Night Ranger page where it's, Jack and Kathy Richardson and Bret and all them right there on the ego ramp. It's just really cool, and like they're all having fun. Like you can just, that energy
Different, yeah.
you can feel.
Because like I've seen Poison so many times because they open for Def Leppard, but like I hear between like Joe and Phil and Bret and Ricky, like they all just say they have too much fun together. Says
And
the perfect billing, Joe Elliott and Bret Michaels.
here's the picture that they all liked. There's Jack and Brett and Kathy Richardson. The only person probably wouldn't like it's Steve and Jerry. He's kind of blocked. But there was that, or no, maybe it was this one that they liked. Same, almost same pose, but just a couple of seconds later. So yeah, it was just really cool. And the show was really great. And I've seen Poison. And I don't think I've ever really honestly enjoyed. I saw them open for Kiss. I've seen them open for Motley Crue. It was always, like they were always just. I never really. It was never that great. Now, when I saw them last year on the arena tour, I thought Poison was the best out of Def
Oh,
Leppard
you
and Motley
stop.
Crue. Listen, I'm not. I'm a.
Joe Elliott sounded the best I've ever heard in live, so maybe
Now
I
I
was
will. I
also
will.
completely
I will
mind.
give Def Leppard this. I've seen Def Leppard, in the '90s. I've seen them here and there and shit ton of tours. Um, when I saw them probably 2015, it was very listless. Like the opening song, which was a new song, was fucking horrible. Um, and the rest of the show was just very. And they were better this time. Now there's still a little bit of a.
See, I think that might have been the show where I was in the lawn in
No,
2015 when
this
I
would have
saw Def
been.
Leppard.
Well, I saw them in
Um,
Columbus. It was in an arena.
because it was at Blossom.
So so yeah.
Because I
Anyways,
think that's why I remember it. My friend got the set list for me, and it said that it has that song that you hate on there because it was their new album at the time.
they kind of like this. Now Jack's jump is a little bit, but it's Brett and Mark, and you can see Jack back here jumping. Um, but again, it was a really good time. Uh, if you got a chance to go see one of these shows, go see it. Um, I've always said, hey, it's going to be good, but Bret Michaels really impressed me. I don't know why, maybe it is some of that like party girl thing where it's not just Poison, but
Mhm.
some Poison songs. Then Mark McGrath comes out and they kind of have some cool banner, and he plays some songs, and then he plays some Poison. Then all of a sudden it's Journey, and yeah, it's Steve and Jerry. All right, right, but you can't fucking just go wild when you hear Separate Ways or something like that, right? And you get a few drinks in you, it's all fucking good.
Did they
I
play
did.
Lawrence songs then?
I don't think. I think he just came out at
Mm. I
again.
mean, yeah, it's not
That's
like he wrote them, but still,
that's
like
the
Down
next.
Boys would be a good addition or
I
something.
think he just came out at the end. At the
Oh, I thought you
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
okay.
So there's Mark Striegel of XM Radio. I took a picture of him and Brett, um, or a few of them, and I took one last picture of all the ceiling fans for my boy. Um,
With the lights on.
it's all empty out there. So yeah, so there was so that was basically that weekend. Uh, it was fun. Hung out with the guys, like I said. Try to stay awake while they're back, back here either crashing or watching movies while we drove from Tinley Park to Noblesville. The next day I took my kid to that, like I said, that Fanimation. Here's an old picture of him up in the upstairs part. You can see it's just this large room of different fans. And then if you go downstairs, you have all like they have like fans you would see back in the 60s and 70s. So that's probably giving some of you flashbacks there. Uh, and then like all these fans you probably saw back in the 80s,
I
stuff
am
like that.
amazed. I mean, I've operated some of those ones, but like I'm
Mm.
amazed that there's like a museum for fans.
Well, I remember watching a episode of American American Pickers. Is that what it's called on History Channel?
I don't know.
So, anyways, the one where the two dudes go and they buy shit, for their antique store,
Oh, okay.
and they came across this guy that had old fans, and they were even amazed just how expensive and collectible they were. But so if like here's the downstairs, like this is the ones that are all worth the money, and you don't really
Good to
play
look at
with.
too
But
close.
like if you look, I just took a picture of one up close. So like this one here, this one I want to show is General Electric's first fan model, 1894, 1895. Yeah. So but anyways, um that was Night Ranger for when I was with them. Like I said we talk about the Tampa show as well. So they had the one Tampa show Wednesday, not part of the party gras. No, Tampa is this weekend. So Friday, they played Daytona Beach. So Daytona Beach isn't part of um the whole party gras. Hey, look at that. We just hit 9,000 members on Fans in Motion.
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember when we were just trying to get 400. But there was a
When
lot
did
of
I come in? Like
I don't know
before
when
1,000, I think.
probably
Or
that's when it started going downhill. So
8,000 people ago.
probably should have already had this screenshotted, but the set list in Daytona was pretty darn cool. Here it is. So here's the set list for Daytona Beach. Bam. Rockin' America, 4 a.m., 7 Wishes.
I saw that for a quick
Sing Me
second.
Away, Coming of Age, Sentimental Street. Let's see here. Rumors in the Air. How about
I
that?
love
So
that one.
something that kind of, two 7 Wishes, Rumors, Call My Name. Now
That's
they
my
have
favorite. I want to hear Can't Find Me a Thrill. That's my song. That and
uh,
That Night She Sleeps, which I know you hate. To the
bow,
ending.
bow, 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 boom. Secret of My Success, which isn't being played on the Party Gras tour. They threw that back in there.
Just for you.
And you got Reason to Be. So some Man in Motion.
Okay.
So yes, it seemed that they threw in some cool little tracks. So if you're Dave Nadalman or James Gillenwater and you were at that show, you were in for a pleasant surprise. So yeah, there you are. Good times had by all. What else we got? Anything that gives you a quick
Well, we
recap?
didn't go through many posts on the page or
Well, that's for
nothing.
Night Ranger news notes and minutia.
Oh yeah.
That's not what this episode is.
I'm not used to that. Yeah,
Here
you
we
go through it with Andy and Brent too. Come on. You
hmm?
forget that I watch too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
but
Pee Wee Herman died.
that's all that. And a lot of people, you think of Pee Wee Herman, you don't really think of Paul Rubens, but he's in
Right.
a lot of movies. I mean, he's in Spinal Tap and um,
I forgot about that.
what
I've
was
only seen that movie a few times, but
um uh there was another big movie. There's a movie where he's in with Johnny Depp. That was really good. I always liked him as the Spleen in Mystery Men.
I haven't seen it.
If you've never seen Mystery Men, um,
I don't
came
really
out.
know what I've really seen with him in it, but I remember Spinal Tap specifically because I'm like, okay, now I know this movie is ridiculous.
Well, if like I said, he's also the waiter in the Blues Brothers. All right. But if you get a chance to go see Mystery Men it was kind of a I don't think kind of a bomb, but it's got a ton of people in it. Ben Stiller, uh Greg Kinnear, William H. Macy, a lot of people in it. And basically what it is, it's like
I don't know who they are
average,
except for
average,
Ben.
average people who are, become superheroes, right? Because the version of Superman in the movie is like killed. So now there's no superheroes, so they form their own. Like one person is really good at throwing forks. Paul Rubens, who is the spleen. He can fart direct, like and aim it and knock
Like
people out.
toxic gas.
Yeah. So um yeah, but I pulled up a list here. So Blues Brothers is probably what a lot of some people probably seen him in, along with Spinal Tap. Uh um
I haven't seen Blues Brothers in God knows how long. Yeah.
and obviously you got Pee Wee's, Big Adventure and Pee Wee's Big Top. Um I
Pee Wee
think he
Herman.
was the voice on Flight of the Navigator. There's a cool 80s Disney movie called Fly the Navigator if you get a chance. Still holds up pretty good. He's, I think, the voice of the spaceship or whatever. Um,
Mm.
Batman Returns, Tucker Cobblepot. That was the first time you seen him kind of after, he was arrested for, you know, yanking his meat in the adult. And that really about killed his career. I mean, that was nowadays it probably even register, but back
Oh
then.
no, now anymore they would
Yeah.
have
Well,
given
I
him
just remember
worse.
there was always so many jokes out there. And then the first like public appearance he made, maybe a year or two later, as Pee Wee, the first thing he says, he comes out and he's like, "Have you heard any new jokes lately?" Yeah, because everybody had made jokes about him and stuff. But so Batman Returns, um, he
So it's like a more serious role or something, or more
well,
serious kind of
yeah, I
movie
mean
than like a
he
ridiculous movie.
Batman Returns, well, had Michael Keaton. He was basically the Penguin's
Mm.
dad, which was Danny DeVito. If there's ever anybody made
I
for that
haven't
role.
seen that Batman. I know that always
Mhm.
throws people, but I haven't seen it. I have it on VHS. I just haven't watched it.
And they did have Big Pee Wee's Big Holiday, so he had a Pee Wee movie that they
Mhm.
released on Netflix about 5 years ago. So yeah, so there's like I said, other um, you know, movies and stuff out there of him. And then obviously you had, Pee Wee's Playhouse that was on Saturday mornings. Mecca Lecca High,
Oh,
Mecca Hiney Ho. Um, Mecca Mecca High, Mecca Hiney Ho. Uh,
I never watched. I feel like I've seen part of the movie, but I like never watched anything with him in it.
and you had the word of the day. Whenever you said the word of the day, everybody went ape shit, cherry and all of them. And what's crazy if you watch like that or watch, the movies. I mean, he had some big name actors with him, Phil Hartman, Lawrence Fishburne. So, um, and he really started hitting the scene probably about 84, 85. So he's one of those cultural, icons that fit right in when Night Ranger was rolling the airwaves. So, uh, yeah, I mean, it's obviously sad to see another one go, especially someone who you always kind of picture as young, right? Pee Wee's just no matter what, always
You just go like, ha,
he's
like that
always
always
youthful, and
automatic kind of smile on your face. Yeah.
um, but I still don't know what that movie was with him and uh
Johnny,
Johnny Depp and who else is it? I just remember the part where they're sitting there, you know, doing some of the drugs or whatever. Um, yeah.
Blow
While they were doing blow, so maybe that
with
was.
Ray Liotta too, that just passed like last year too.
I don't think so.
Because I just typed in Pee Wee Herman and Johnny Depp, and that was the first movie to come up was with them three in it.
Well, it could be. Give me a second here. Oh, so it would probably been in the 90s. Yeah, it could have been blow.
No, it's 2001 is when Blow came
Well,
out.
2001. Listen, when it's 2023, 2001 was in the 90s. Um, Let me see.
No, I feel that because
Um,
with my new job, I have to wear these work pants for like the next 3 months before I can be home, and the pants that I found kind of remind me of the 90s stuff because they've got the super stretchy elastic parts, but only in parts of the waistband, and then there's like unique stitching. I don't know how to describe it. Like down the pant leg, but across the pant leg too. Like I feel like a Spice Girl or Britney Spears or something when I walk in.
Paul Rubens, 70 years old. So, anyways, yeah, let's end it on a depressing note. Listen, if you get a chance, Night Ranger's going to be in Tampa, basically Atlanta, and what's the last date? Charlotte. This weekend for Party Gras. Go. You will not be disappointed. Night Ranger almost plays a full set. And then, like I said, Bret's band is awesome. And then those guys come out the end. So good times had by all. Great set list that was in Daytona Beach. There are still a few more shows going to be announced here in the upcoming weeks. I think the show in Effingham, Illinois, or something just went on sale this week, and there's another show, Kansas City, I think, that was just went on sale last week, and then there's a few that are coming up in some weird places. I think Arkansas, you may have a Louisiana date, so Rick might go see them. So Louisiana and Arkansas, keep your eyes open. I know someone just posted about Alabama. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they're going to Atlanta, and that, I mean, it's just a state over. I'm not saying they should go, but I mean, clearly people around there like,
Well, I tell you what, just because the state over,
that damn Yankee.
yeah, it's it's just a shitty drive from Atlanta to Savannah, let alone Atlanta to Alabama. So all right, well, if you're out there listening and you're on the YouTube page, hit subscribe, leave us a comment. If you did go to the Party Gras shows, tell us, give us your review. If you're at Daytona Beach, tell us how great that was. If you weren't, just tell us how great Josh Christopherson and Robyn Ludidi, how great we are. So other than that,
Luddite.
it's Ludidi.
It is Luddite.
No, just ask Dave Nadelman. Oh, wait, Dave Nadelman. I fucked that all.
Exactly.
So all right. Robyn, say bye to everyone.
Bye, everyone. Also, I mean, I thanked everyone for the birthday wishes. Again, thank you. I appreciate you, and excited to see more of you guys. Bye.
So this was your first 29th, right? All right. So there you are. We shall see you next week. Maybe.